Hello everybody. Welcome back to the LJL cast for our 8th and final game for week 6 of the LJL. This is week 4. This is game 4 for us over here on the Unofficial stream. Our last game of the stream to end it. I am still your host and hype man, Alex, otherwise known as Lexi. I go by Master, and I'm of course joined by the
Go on.
the truly no, I'm coming up with words I've already said, so I'm just going to be like, you are insatiable, dude. Like, truly you are, because that's the only word that's coming to me. So, like, irresistible by all means.
Ooh, it's getting better.
Samuel Hapgood, initialize.
Beautiful.
Say hello to everybody on the stream.
Hello. I mean, what more can I say about myself? That's a pretty amazing intro. I'll take it. There we go. That's who I am.
There's a little bit of hesitation.
There's no exaggeration in that. You know, just try to be humble. You know, you can't.
Well, you're so irresistible.
I had to. About me, you know.
Yeah, you're so irresistible. I had to hesitate.
I can't say those things about myself. I can't say. I mean, they might be true. They are true, but I can't keep saying them about myself. People get irritated. No, we don't need that. Don't need that.
Well, coming into our last game, we're going to be seeing V3 Esports looking to basically go into week 7 with an even record and basically giving that soft train ticket. It's like they purchased a train ticket. They haven't quite gone through the barriers yet to know if it does actually work, but they will definitely be in a very good spot for that playoffs, facing off against Burning Core, who are looking to basically try and give themselves the opportunity to still go to playoffs. We know if they join the Hawks, it's going to be such an uphill battle, and part of it's going to come down to a bit of luck as well, which is never where you want to leave it. Whereas if you're a players who are sitting on the 5 wins, if they all just go 1-1 again and you don't get 2 wins, you're basically out, which is
big time.
Just how that goes. I was really impressed. As you had said at the end of that game, Paz had arguably the game of his life, and so far the game of this split so far. Can he do it again against one of the MVPs of our top lane, Ray Farkey, is the question, though.
It's going to be interesting because I think there is an element of momentum coming into this in that V3 are coming hot off a win, feeling pretty good about themselves. It was a good win as well. Whereas Burning Core kind of got bled out pretty hardcore by the side of Axes. And so they're kind of already feeling the pressure. They lost to a team which they kind of felt they could or should have maybe taken a win over and haven't. If they lose to V3 as well, they're going to feel pretty bad. So I think there's got to be pressure on this squad right now. And yeah, maybe Burning Core definitely have options. We've seen, as we've talked before, once in particular have stunning early games. We've seen Ray Farkey run over the top lane before. But they have got to be able to start this game off right. They've got to be able to win this one flat out. Whether it's clean, whether it's messy is kind of irrelevant. This win is a must win for Burning Core.
I mean, Burning Core are on, at minimum, a 3-loss streak, potentially even 4 wins they've lost in a row. So they are going to be hungry like the wolf for this win. They're really looking at, whereas on the side of V3, they were our team that almost always go 1-1. They had one bad week where they went 0-2. Maybe this is their week where they make up for it and go 2-0. If that's happened, I mean, consistency is proven to be the path for this playoff spot for V3 if they do happen to pick up this win.
Yeah, it could well be. They have got to pick it up first, though. And, you know, they are coming off a win. That's going to make them feel good. They showed that they are kind of looking a little bit more coherent and cohesive this week than they have in previous ones. So that's good news for them. But they've still got to pull this together. We've seen them kind of have fallen apart before. And Ace and Paz need to keep the good performances up.
Yes, but one good thing for V3 is they didn't lean on Boogie for their win.
No, that's a big one.
Which means that's very scary, actually, for everybody now. Because if arguably maybe the best jungler of the region isn't having to carry his team fully on his back and the rest of his team are starting to get a bit of confidence and momentum in themselves, that could get very scary for a lot of teams, regardless of who you are. Because everyone's seen what Boogie can do. It's just been the rest of the pieces around him not quite living up to the level that I think was hoped from a team that was 3rd place in the playoffs. So definitely high expectations coming into the spring split for V3, relatively speaking. But with that said, let's get into this pick and ban phase. As always, it is a blast from the past, as I say almost every single time. Because forcing a meme is hard. I'm going to quickly count us in for this 8th and final game for week 6 of the LJL. In 3, 2, 1, let's go into it and see what happens.
Well, here we go. We're into Champ Select for the last game of week 6. And V3 are on the blue side, and they have Paz in the top lane, the indomitable Boogie in the jungle, it's Ace in the mid lane, and Archer and Reyna are holding the fort in the bot lane.
And for Burning Core, it's Rayfaki in the top lane. It's Once in the jungle, it's Raki in the mid lane. It's Yuhi as their bot lane carry and Proud as their support.
And some bans off the board already. Boogie is not going to be getting his hands on either Elise or Rek'Sai, those early game champions, which he loves to dive with. Not available. LeBlanc and Set banned away from Burning Core, though. LeBlanc, of course, is that kind of almost crutch pick for the side of Rocky. He's the one champion he's looked really good on. Set's taken away from Rayfaki because he's pretty good with that. And Yuumi, of course, a very strong pick in general. All things that they clearly don't want to first pick.
Yeah, and you have to assume the Echo last ban is coming out here from Burning Core. If they're attacking Boogie so aggressively, we've seen him consistently pick, especially on the B1, 2, and 3 side. V3 almost always take it. Interesting. I wonder if Burning Core are potentially trying to take away, by giving them the Ornn, but take away the Echo.
We'll find out. It is a possibility. Olaf as well is another one of those champions that's very good early into the game. Hits like level 3, has a lot of damage to his name, and can do some pretty good work. So it's another one of those champions that can affect lanes early. The Boogie's just not going to have his hands on.
Pads, that is the champ you're going to have to play. I know you were biting your lip a little bit. You weren't 100% happy of picking Ornn against Rayfaki. I wouldn't blame you. That sounds very scary. But it's what you've got to do, and with Ornn, that offers your team so many options coming into this mid and late game, as Ornn is arguably one of the scariest champs going into a late game. As we see Rayfaki picking up Aphelios and once hovering Silas. He locks in Silas. Interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Lee Sin locks in the Silas. Silas is a flex between the mid and the jungle. We've seen it before. I mean, it could even be top, potentially, if Rayfaki wants to go that way. I won't pull it out there. Ornn is a flex still, but that's an interesting lock-in of the Silas. I wonder whether Once runs towards himself. Boogie locking in the Senna. I doubt that's going to be a Dr. Mundo, but it would be hilarious. Infected Cleavers galore, but no, going towards the Catfish. Senna Tahm Kench, another one of the, is becoming one of these premier bot lanes. We saw it last game, look utterly disgusting, and it's going to be locked in again here for the side of V3.
God, Reyna looks so strong on the Tahm Kench in that last game, as well as Archer on the Senna, dealing the most amount of damage in that game. Can't blame them for doing that, really. That's just such a strong bot lane. And now Burning Core have to respond. They have a top laner they could pick, or they have to pick a support.
Are they thinking about the Tristana mid is always a possibility,
okay, so
but they're locking the Trundle.
Okay, so Burning Core have actually already told V3 what they're playing in their mid and jungle, so banning it isn't actually anywhere near as effective. It's only the support and top lane is where that's going. So now V3 get to ban champions that hard counter them potentially. So potentially that Blitzcrank will get banned again, as we saw last time from V3. As the Echo.
That's the Echo ban. That's a 4th jungle ban now for the side of Burning Core versus the side of poor old Boogie. His champion pool is kind of being not even slowly, just stripped away from him.
But we saw Boogie play a Gragas last game, so he's totally okay with how this draft is going. What do you
think their last ban is going to be? I can nearly guarantee it's a Gragas. It could be a Jarvan as well, I suppose. You're like trying to force him onto something. Darius ban, I think, is quite sensible. Rayfaki's still kind of waiting on a last pick here, and he does love to default to that Darius.
Yeah, when in doubt, ban their comfort picks, take them in, make them go into more uncomfortable positions, and have to make them figure it out.
Go towards the Zoe ban. We saw Zoe Senna or be pretty obnoxious as a double poke combo. Can be pretty powerful. So that's just taken off the board. Won't actually be a 5th jungler. Thank goodness for poor old Boogie.
This is where they ban a jungler back in response, just to show them. Yeah,
that would be kind of entertaining. I assume the Silas is
GP.
They've said it's not like the GP's gone. That's another good counter pick for Rayfaki. He's had some very good games on this. We've got the Silas realistically going mid, Trundle realistically going in the jungle. They've still got to pick up support. They've still got to pick up the top lane into Burning Core. Probably, I suspect, going towards the support here, and they've got locked in the Karma. Interesting choice.
Well, they're choosing to go in a different direction to, as we saw from the Jesters. Instead of going for the Pike and try and do the kill, which they saw wasn't so effective, they're going for the Mage option, which I actually think is a really nice way to play it. You can get some great poke with both Aphelios and Karma onto the Tahm Kench or the center, but you don't truly have to go for it unless you don't want to. So I actually really like that pick. As we see,
Whereas Ace insta-locked that Syndra there. Had a great game in the last one. There's enough squishy members on the side of Burning Core to potentially make that worthwhile. Boogie thinking about going for the Lee Sin last pick here. Seen the rest of these champions, is feeling there's enough things here that he can kick around and feel pretty happy about it. See what the last pick is for Burning Core.
Yeah, I actually really like the side that V3 has drafted here. It really has a lot of mobility.
Oh, go on, Rocky. That would be great.
That the PB doesn't. We haven't got the new update. You need to wait till 10.6. Rocky, you need to wait for 10.6.
We're on 10.4. We're still 2 patches behind.
Yeah, and it's not even. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the Azir looks
a bit more normal.
Yeah, the Azir makes a lot.
But that does mean Silas top lane realistically for Ray Fargi. It has been flexed up there. We were interested about that.
No, it could be Trundle top, right?
I suppose, but I suppose it could be Trundle top with Azir mid and the Silas in the jungle is a possibility. I don't think we'll see Azir top. But we have seen it once or twice over the course of Azir's lifespan, but I feel that would be a little bit shocking. And no, it is just going to be the mid lane Azir, a bit more normal there. Let me think. How am I thinking about this? Silas into Ornn does kind of get enough chance to just heal up off the Ornn V lane to scale up. Of course, Silas, once he gets a couple items and some CDR, level 11 for those ultimate hijack can do a lot of work. Dawning Shadow is strong, Kick is strong, Call of Forge God is very strong. Lots of things for the Stylist to use. It's a hijack.
I actually think if you're Paz and you're playing Ornn, I think you're actually very okay with this matchup. I think you're just like, well, I just have to sustain this match. I'm not planning on winning the lane. I'm Ornn. I never plan on winning a lane. I plan on just not dying, basically. So I actually...
We've got Boogie back on his Lee Sin as well, which should be really good. I think that's potentially a big point of power for him.
Yeah.
In the last time he picked it, it was into that really nasty CC comp where he would just try and dive forward, having waited out half the CC, and there was still 30 tons of it left. I think that was versus... it would have been versus the Rascal Jesters, where they ran the Jinx Lissandra combo, and Lissandra would just freeze him in place with the Ring of Frost every time he tried to get somewhere. I think this time should be a little bit of a better showing for Boogie on this list. At least got more options for it. Things like kicking in a Azir or an Aphelios towards your team as people to pick up as juicy targets are definitely available. Could be pretty powerful on that Lee Sin early, especially considering we're looking at, once not on an early impact jungler. The Trundle has options, of course. The Pillar's not a bad gank tool, but it's kind of one of those ones where you kind of want to force a flash with it the first time and then return to gain the kill.
So a quick recap for the last time that V3 Esports and Burning Core played. It was a 27-minute game where V3 Esports didn't die once. And Burning Core didn't get a single kill, obviously. And Esports got 10 kills. That was Paz, again on this Ornn, didn't die once. Boogie didn't die and got 3 kills and 2 assists on the Rek'Sai. That's probably why they first banned Rek'Sai. Ace was on the Zoe, again a pick that was open until the second round of bannings where it was banned again. And then Archer and Reyna were playing a completely different bot lane. So, this...
could be interesting.
Yeah, it's...
we'll have to see this one goes. I think it will be a little bit of a longer game with the way these teams scale. I mean, there's still going to be some fairly powerful mid-game fights. Once again, it's the Azir Aphelios combo we saw last game that didn't work out. But if they do hit 2-3 items kind of uncontested, they do a lot of work. This Proud as you've got looking at Archer Reyna trying to force Yuhi and Proud away from the wave. Kind of want to talk a little bit about this Karma actually. So LS was talking a little over on Summoning Insight a while ago about specifically what you can do into Tahm Kench. And a lot of these enchanter supports, things like the Karma, can be quite good into Tahm Kench, and that you can just push them on the tower and poke him real hard, a little like that. And early level 1, there is a fair amount of damage coming out of an Aphelios and a Karma. So I can see this being a straight pick into the Senna and the Tahm Kench, especially if the Tahm Kench is the one farming as well. If he's every time he needs to walk up to the wave to farm, he's getting Severum and all the sort of Karma cues to the face, could be kind of punishable. So we'll see whether it works out. But I kind of like this attempt at some counters into the Tahm Kench. We saw the Pike last game, didn't work out. We're seeing the Karma this time, and we'll see if this one fares a little better.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Currently, we're seeing Archer just putting out huge amounts of damage since they've got that level advantage at the moment. But there
is pots and piercing shadows, so I suspect Archer will be back up to relatively fine HP in just a moment.
Yeah, and it takes almost seconds for Archer to basically get full health, because when you're playing a carry healer, it's very hard. As we see the Twitter poll come in, V3 getting a little bit more momentum on their side. A few more people are on the side of V3 now, whereas there's still a lot of hope from the Twitter world for Burning.
Oh, here we go, a bit of an engage. Boogie's turning up to engage onto once, and I think this 2v2 is probably in the favor of V3, at least for the moment, but Boogie's now gone low, Paz has gone low, and Ray Farkey's healing up, but that's a nice shield in the follow. Boogie! Strike. Boogie's got a double! Boogie! What plays? He just uses the ward, that sort of like massive safeguard to shield up his top laner, and picks up 2 kills there. Disaster for Burning Core early on.
Boogie. I get that you didn't have a pop-off game because you played Gragas last game, so now you're like, well, I want to pop off, so you play Lee Sin. That was dirty. That was just, I want to see this replay. All right.
Oh, so they know once has cleaned the ward out. He throws the ward hop over, gets the resonating strike, Sonic Wave and the resonating strike. A lot of damage onto us, but it's then turned around. And you think it's about to go wrong because Ray Farkey is putting a lot of damage down, and there's a lot of low health bar members. But that's a fantastic safeguard, which forces the double flashes, which Boogie then responds and cleans that up. Lee Sin early with Conquerors. That is pretty disgusting, it turns out.
So the one thing that was really working on...
Oh, no, he's back.
Oh. Okay. So while we wait for Secret Agent Boogie to do his thing, the one reason that they were really able to go for this is because Ray Farkey and Once had used all their cooldowns on mostly Paz, with a bit of it going on to Boogie. Because of that, Boogie was able to know, well, once my Q's back up, I can just re-go for everything again, and I basically don't get punished for this. Ray Farkey!
Ray Farkey, no!
Oh,
he's at least at level 5, but he has no flash. He's in so much trouble, and Boogie here looking to pick up his 3rd kill of the game. It does go over, and this Lee Sin is more than ready to pop off. He hasn't even backed, by the way, Mass Swan. He's still on a machete and a refillable.
Oh, let's watch what he goes and buys with this bag. Oh my god, he's got he has 2.4k gold, so much further ahead. He's over a k ahead of Ace in the mid lane. Like, just picture that.
The gold lead currently is 1,500. 1,000 of that is on the back of this Lee Sin, who goes back, picks up 2 control walls, and then a challenging smite, and of course the Caulfield's Warhammer. He's inches away from a warrior enchant at 5 minutes 30.
Oh, Once, I don't think you can actually go for that.
Oh no, he's down. These Sonic Waves are on flipping homing. It's just point and click at the moment.
Oh my god, now Rocky has to go back. There's no way you can stay there because everybody knows this is the
maybe
so.
He's going to feel a little bit too confident. Just safeguard away though. We're going to see how it goes. But he's just going to Rocky. He doesn't have the damage, but like actually there's a teleport coming in. The heals here as well. I don't think they win this fight. Boogie gets it with the challenging smite hit damage. Is he going to get another one? No, Paz picks that one, but it's 4-0-1 on this Lee Sin. And Boogie is level 6, ladies and gents.
5 minutes into this game, 6 minutes into this game, 5 kills already done. Boogie having the game of the series, of the just everything. This man has shown why I said that statement of this is arguably the best jungler of the region. You don't do this kind of stuff on Lee Sin in professional play without potentially being the best in your area.
And he's found 2 kills onto Silas, a kill onto Trundle, and a kill onto Azir with the fade away smite damage. Cool guys don't look at explosions, but they certainly look at their Sonic Waves landing. That was clean there. And you think this is going to be over, right? The Once is going to come in, and they're just going to safeguard away, and that'll be the end of it. But Once those at the pillar, they think they've got to fight, but Boogie goes, yeah, I've got the damage. And that is just possibly the last tick of damage. It's a minion.
It's a minion.
A minion auto follows him for the kill. Oh, that is nightmare stuff for the side of Burning Core. Rocky taken out there. Wow. Boogie... He's actually a warrior champ. It's 7 minutes in and he's a warrior champ.
I don't think I've ever had that item ever in my life that quickly.
No,
Paz now can
he's
just
gonna get a solo kill.
He's just so... That was a bug. I'm pretty sure you already saw him hit that one, and then it came back out. It doesn't matter. Rayfaki was already dead. And when you're Paz, when you're an Ornn that already has 3 assists facing off against a Silas with 3 deaths, it's not surprising that you're actually able to just 1v1 him really at this point in the game. It's just like, I'm that far ahead, as Boogie's here to just probably bait out Rayfaki if he comes back into this lane a bit too quickly. If their paths do cross... Oh, he's just counter jungling. Of course, why not take everything?
He's doing a little bit of all of that. He was on a ward, the observers just showed us, so Silas desperately hunting for this Lee Sin, hoping against hope he's not here to claim his life one more time. Doesn't need the Lee Sin there, though. Apparently just died in the 1v1 to Ornn. Yes, he hijacked the call of the Forge God to try and turn that around maybe a little bit, but it was just too late. And brittle procs on Ornn are a lot of damage, especially early on.
100%. It's very a lot. It's just a lot of freaking damage too. Like, it's there's no other way for me to say. I was like, oh, I can be very poignant with my point here, but I was like, no, it's just a lot of freaking damage. You can't do much about it. And when you're an Ornn that is so much further ahead than you're expecting to be, Silas is down on CS. Yeah, Silas is down on CS, and it's not. Oh my god, 3k gold lead. It literally, like, what? We're 8 minutes into this game, 9 minutes.
Herald, the Boogie's picked up as well. I think Rayfaki about to take a load of damage, and Once is here as well. He is on a ward. Maybe Boogie gets punished for this.
Ooh, and they have to
that is a swift use of the ping. Yeah. See how it goes. Rift Herald is summoned.
Oh,
it's going to be a lot of damage. That's 2.5. I think it's just going to be an instinct on the tower. Yeah, Rayfaki's going in, but Paz is turning unleashed power, and there's 173 gold because that's a 4th kill onto the side. Boogie's going to die to the tower.
Oh.
He is not, because that's going to claim by that. Boogie, you play with my heartstrings, but that was stylish. He gets a double kill, taking all the tower shots there as well.
Just the man that wants to do it all. They're also going to get a second hit with this Rift Herald in that top lane. That's just going to be so much early golden pressure, so much advantage. 9 kills, as I hinted at. It was 10-0 versus V3 Burning Core in week 2 when we first saw them. Boogie looks like he wants to beat this.
We had a replay in the bottom. What happened here? So it was a route onto Yuhi. How did this get turned around? Let's see how this goes. Now Yuhi flashing away.
It's
level 6.
It's the proc. Yes, it was the proc from Tom Kench fully coming out. So much damage, and I mean, I guess when you're getting so much incidental gold just by being on a team, it just means you're just good. When you're Tom Kench, you have more gold than Aphelios. You're feeling pretty good about yourself.
More gold than Aphelios is a bit of a terrifying thought, really, isn't it? And it's like, this is another counter pick into the Tom Kench. It just isn't working out. Summon is now blown for both bot laners, but it came out in favor of V3, who are, you're right, 9 kills in the lead. That Lee Sin, by the way, 6-0-1. He 1v1s everybody in this game right now.
Look at the level lead. Rayfaki is 7, Paz is 9.
Yeah, Boogie is 8. Once is just ticked over to 7 now, and I assume the Lee Sin, once he manages to actually think about farming, because who does that when you can farm champions, will actually be in a fairly significant lead in general, just experience-wise as well.
Oh my god, my heart does go out to Rayfaki.
We wanted him to step up, right?
We did, but my heart does go a little bit out to...
We wanted him to step up.
Oh, sir, hello.
Oh, it's hard to be here. This he does get a lot of healing, but Silas takes a little while to come online these days, and he's just so far in the dumpster right now. It's taking forever to get there. He's on like bargain bucket at best. He's got an amp tone and a dark seal with a mana crystal, and past another one of these turrets. That's both of Silas's turrets gone before 12 minutes. And Boogie's like, "Are you sure you want to fight me once? Really, really sure about this one?" And that's unleashed power onto Rocky. And he takes a lot of damage, and just as the Infernal Drake is spawned as well, that's just a massive chunk. Archer now in trouble, though, because he doesn't have Flash. But the thing about trouble is it's not going to be all that hard when Boogie's going to go on to Rocky, is actually what I was going to say. Great flank from Paz, the teleport coming in from Rayfaki, and they're just going to walk away having burnt both some from this Azir. And Boogie's like, you know, I've still got kick, right? You come any closer to me and I will kick you all the way through all of your team members and destroy their health bars.
The problem is everybody on this side of Burning Core is well aware if Boogie hits a Q on you, you're over. But the problem is at the same time, the whole team of V3 can just take this dragon and Burning Core have to accept it. There is nothing they can do about it. They are all so much further behind to their counterparts. Even this bot lane, which has stayed even, that's not what this lane was meant to do. This lane was meant to be the one that should win, as the whole side of V3 collapse on this bot lane, and they want another turret.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that, right? This is 12 minutes into the game, just over, and it's over a 5,000 gold lead, Lexi. That, like, is disgusting, and it's currently a perfect game, by the way. There has been no objective taken at all by V3, never mind any Drakes. There are no turrets, there are no kills. It is all falling apart. It was already a perfect game for V3 versus Burning Core the last time. They're looking to make it 2 of them in the split.
That's a statement against a team, right? That's like soul reading someone. You're like, we know how you play and we can beat you anytime in any way.
It really is.
Now I want to ask the question, as we hit that 13-minute mark. Do you think the game will be over in less than 10 minutes so that V3 can beat their record that was set in week 1?
I mean, maybe. They've still got the options for it. There's a Rift Herald being summoned in another minute. If they can find a particularly good usage of that, maybe. I doubt it. I don't think the meta's in that place anymore. And they're not running the ridiculous dive comp in the same way. I suppose Lee Sin and Ornn arriving from the flanks across that mid lane one more time could certainly orchestrate something like that. But no, I think it'll be potentially a fairly swift one, but I don't think it'll be the 23-minute win. That would be fairly ridiculous, even for how this game is going.
I definitely agree with you. I just have to put it out there to let the listeners and viewers know that V3 have both the longest game and the shortest game of the LJL, and and also the most amount, currently the most perfect games, assuming they can end this with the perfect record. Obviously, though, Burning Core were on the opposite end of this in their last game, with Ray Farkey being... Oh, no, that was a very different team. I will shut my mouth and pretend I don't exist again.
That's fine. We'll move on from that. It's also just that actually, if V3 do win this, they'll be 6-6, perfectly balanced. Longest game, shortest game, 6 wins, 6 losses. They are the Thanos of teams, there to be perfectly balanced as all things should be. Yuhi and Proud now matching up against Archer and Reyna in this mid lane, but not getting a lot done are this Aphelios and Karma anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as we see Boogie immediately, basically this Rift Herald comes alive. He's like, yeah, that's mine, fight me, I dare you. No one's going to fight you, but Boogie, you're 6-0.
They are thinking about it though. So actually, incoming very core in the mid lane, are they just looking for pressure down there? Or are they going to contest? I mean, they're working up, but Once takes a massive chunk. And Ace is just spawning spheres everywhere to try and get things out. And actually, they walked in as 5 and walk out as 5 because Once just takes incidental poke. And it's not so incidental at this point. He just loses most of his health bar.
Yeah, and that's just showing the huge difference.
Sure?
Oh, God, Paz, I know
you're... Not a searing charge, he's fine.
Paz, you're very strong. I'm well aware, but... oh God, you're just hungry and you just want to hurt people, Paz. Okay, fine.
He's got 4 levels on Proud, and that means that Call of the Forge God is actually a massive chunk onto this Karma, who's very, very low at this point. Mid lane tower goes down with the use of the Rift Herald spawn. Azir or not, you can't hold that. And with the Mountain Drake up in a minute 30, V3 are going to move into this jungle and pick up as much control over this space as they.
Yeah, Paz is going to push this bot lane wave into the turret, basically doing a vague reset, as they will probably be setting up to immediately take this Drake the second it spawns, or to fight Burning Core if they dare try and come up to it. It's like, it's full JoJo. You dare approach me?
Can't beat you up if I can't beat you up if I don't walk closer. Come as close as you like, says Boogie. And of course, it is now an 8,000 gold lead. They definitely want them to come a little bit closer because the only way they're going to be able to get some of this stuff off, and if not, let's be real, Lee Sin's not exactly unable to find his own flanks. His mobility and creative playmaking options as a champion are pretty much unparalleled. Let's be completely honest.
Truly unparalleled in this game, as we do see Boogie going back. It's going to be interesting to see what he does buy just before the reset does happen here. He just upgrades to Moby Boots now. Well, not Moby Boots.
Mercury Treads.
Merc Boots, not Moby Boots. Merc Boots or Moby Treads. Well, now this is going to become a Lee Sin that's going to become incredibly frustrating to try and pin down.
Yeah, and he's got the Black Cleaver as well, right? So he's very high on damage at this point as well. Like no amount of armor you stack at this point, if he, well, at least considering how far ahead he is, he can just do so much work. And that's just a single EQ combo from Syndra with the, I think that was just an auto attack actually from Senna, doing most of his health bar once again. He's only level 9, by the way. He's like 3 levels down on this Syndra, who's disgustingly strong.
And Boogie, while his levels have subsided a little bit, because you can't just have that insane early game level advantage that you normally get, think about how much further ahead he is just in gold, in pressure. He's just took another dragon, and the whole of Burning Core know they can't approach him. He's just going to keep pushing as Paz is able to do a side push in the wave. I love this. Like, kind of like
Forge God available as well. They're looking for a flank. Actually, look at Boogie on one side. It's Paz on the other, and Azir isn't there. This could be an absolute nightmare. That one ward does spot off this Lee Sin, but that Trundle is terrifyingly low. Does force them away. Paz has still got Flash. He's so damn tanky. It's going to force them away from this turret. It's at least going to go down to half HP. They might be able to claim it all, but Rocky is here with wave clear. So is Ray Farki, who picks up a Call of the Forge God for himself, and that turret survives on the barest of health bars.
It's basically down. The thing is, V3 are going to be happy if the side of Burning Core want to try and fight this, because they know they are significantly. Oh my god, Ray Farki!
The Dawning Shadow is massive, and Archer just claims that kill and the tower now, and the shove continues. Maybe you were right. Maybe V3 will win in sub 20 minutes because they're trying to break the damn base. Look at the damage on Rocky. He's being forced away, and that means the tower is gone. There's no wave clear available. He can't walk up. Boogie is there at level 11 with flash available. He gets a flash kick and you are done.
That is so fast that they have taken that. I would not be surprised if this is now the side of
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, no Tom Kench is there. Never mind.
From the side of V3, they're gonna just reset and look for this Baron, because if Burning Core try and approach them, what do they do? This is 10k at basically 1 minute.
Buddy.
Oh god, you have to flash away, but now you don't have that flash for any further fights for the next few minutes.
That was a Q resonating strike auto with an E. That was basically like what? A recast on a Q, and half the health bar of Proud just disappears. Like, that's just disappointing as far as this guy is concerned. Call of the Forge Guard comes across the map in the top lane just to clear out Krugs, by the way, by Rayfar. Couldn't find an opportunity to use that in the previous fight, and with it running out, decided to do that. But it's not looking good for Burning Core. The perfect game still on the line. The shortest game of the split still on the line. That is how fast this game is going.
This is honestly just such a fast-paced game, and V3 are playing a comp where arguably they're okay with it also going to 35-40 minutes. They could play a Sengoku game with how their comp is positioned, with so much scaling and options that they have. But now they can also just try and end this game in 20 minutes. Can they beat the 3-minute marker? They haven't rushed for this Baron. Does become a lot harder. I wonder if any of the players realize they also, if they end it in 3 minutes, they beat their record. Probably not.
I think they just care about getting this win and putting themselves pretty well in playoffs contention, if not already there. Like, V3 are effectively 10,000 gold ahead at 20 minutes. At this time in the game, that is catastrophic levels of damage. They have like another, what? It's like 150% of what Burning Core's gold is. They are at 28k. V3 are at like 38k. So probably not quite that, actually, but still a ridiculous percentage more gold than the side of Burning Core. Maths is hard. I didn't do that.
It's almost a quarter. A quarter of all of Burning Core's gold is just what V3 have over them. Like, that's actually insane at this point in the game. You're not meant to have a quarter over of what your opponents have. Just never. As we see, V3
2-man Baron start, yeah.
I think they're strong enough. I think
they probably are. There's enough healing from Boogie at this point with his it's the second part of the safeguard that's name escapes me. Does allow for a fair amount of healing on Lee Sin.
I think it's like
as long
Dragon
as he keeps powering
something maybe.
Yeah, Dragon Kick is of course his ultimate. It's the other side of the W. I forget his name. Tom Kench going to come in and throw some tankiness, and that means this Baron is uncontested. And Baron cleaned up by V3. I think the the shortest game of the split is off the table now. But Baron is claimed, and I think they will be happily taking that. Once thinking about fighting, no, does take a point. Syndra of all people. That's another near steal by Once, who had another try on the Jarvan earlier, but it's not going to go over. V3 pick it up. They are so far in control of this game.
Well, and they're all just going to reset now. The whole team of V3 and now go towards that mountain soul, and then probably just to end this game. It probably is unlikely that they're going to be able to beat their fastest game, but they're going to be putting up potentially a second or third place time, as we have seen some stormers over here in the LJL. Wow, yeah. 11 kills, no deaths. Over
level 14 ticks. Level 14 ticked over by Ornn, by the way. So not just the massive items coming through, it's the ornaments coming through. Not going to wait for something like a death cap for Syndra. Just upgrades to Ludens. And this is Soul as well. Just horrifically strong for V3.
They are over 11k over the side of Burning Core. You say there's Domination Nation sometimes, but you're like, haha, it's Domination Nation, 5k ahead. It's going to be hard for the other team. 11k. I don't know how Burning Core don't lose this game.
Well, it's 2.5 items to 1 roughly for the sides of Burning Core. They are so far behind in itemization. They're behind in experience. There's 2-level leads in pretty much everywhere, apart from actually Rocky, who is somehow some way above Ace. But that's because he's the only one to be able to pick up farm for the last 10 minutes. And I don't think it's going to matter really in the grand scheme of things, because Boogie is a monster. So is the rest of V3. And it's all Burning Core can do to hold on to their base. I doubt with this Baron push coming in, they're going to hold on to this inhibitor. Paz to the top side. Syndra and Lee Sin are in the bot. This is a full court press. The towers are disappearing. Burning Core's hopes are disappearing. They're looking down a scoreline of 4 and 8 on their schedule. Rocky takes another big chunk from Ace, and I think this could be the death push. V3 have no reason to back. They have no reason to let up this pressure. And Burning Core, this is your last chance. What have you got to show us? It's a big last embrace, and it might just be the last farewell warm embrace of their playoff hopes drifting into the distance. They're going to try. It's double Call of the Forge God. One is stolen, one is real, and Rocky gets destroyed by Lee Sin. Boogie kills him, and Ray Farkey desperately running away. It's a 5v4. It's a perfect game. It's the towers going down, and it is Burning Core falling to V3. They can't even pick up a kill in these last minutes. Another one can't happen again. It does. 12-0.
Perfect games back to back. That is truly unprecedented. Welcome back to the desk. I am Alex, otherwise known as Eximote, my master on the internet, and that is obviously the insatiable, the incredible Sam Hapgood, otherwise known as Initializer, over here at the LJL Officially Unofficial, to finish off week 6 of the LJL. What the heck was that, V3? Where have you been hiding these? Is it just you've got Burning Core's number on speed dial and you're like, I know everything you're going to do and we're going to have a perfect game against you both times. What was Boogie doing?
Well, of all people you didn't want to give a double kill early to, it was flipping Boogie on Lee Sin, who claims the lives of both the Silas and the Trundle in the top lane. Their flashes are gone, and then he just sets up camp in that top lane. That Silas is put so far behind, he's just sort of changed that A to an O. It's so lost at that point. There's no chance he's ever going to be able to get anything done. He is a complete non-factor. Boogie is off to the races. He starts off the snowball, and then Paz finds a solo kill on Ornn versus the Silas later into that game. It just, it's awful stuff at that point. And, you know, not just that, we've got to ask, where on earth have Ace and Paz these kind of levels of carry been the rest of the split as well? They looked so much better these last 2 games.
These last 2 games actually show a lot of what V3 has potentially now been hiding, or maybe they fix whatever between week 5, week 4, and this week of week 6. Boogie is allowed to play a support role, and between the 3 lanes of mid, jungle, and top, only 1 death happens, and that's Paz, because he basically wants to go for everything. V3 almost having 2 back-to-back games of basically not dying. And
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, that was a perfect game. Like,
that was their perfect game against Burning Core.
Yeah.
And then
this is just good. And then the last one they did, like, what was it, 14-1? They went at the end.
15-1, and Rayfarky. Oh no, Paz only
man.
dying when, remember, he dies for 1,000 shutdown gold because they want to end the game then and there.
Yeah.
Wow. That is the third
Good
fastest
stuff.
game that we've seen in the LJL. 2 of them coming out from V3, and this is, I dare say, the scariest team now.
It's up there. Like, when V3 play well, and the thing is, we know this team. I know you like to think that go on about how the Hawks snowball really well. I would potentially argue with you. I think that V3,
yeah, they're the kings
have
of it.
shown us that they really snowball exceptionally well when they get the opportunity. I think seeing Ace and Paz on the front foot gives new life to them. I think Boogie with a lead is exceptionally dominant. He claimed all the objectives, took over the jungle, found ganks everywhere. They were also looking for dives in the mid lane like other teams in the LJL don't really do outside of maybe DFM. Like, it was just good stuff, really. Using that Ornn Call of the Forge God particularly well to force people away from towers and continue that snowball very aggressively.
Yeah, and it's just going to be super interesting to see the future of this league. This league is just so exciting, and when teams pop online, we are literally in the opportunity to see some incredible games. As let's have a quick look at, I'll have to run it down. We don't have a lovely graphic for this, as I have to do it on Excel. But let's have a quick rundown of where we are for the end of this week. In DFM, they are in first place with 11 wins and 1 loss. They have secured themselves first place for playoffs. In second place, we have Sengoku at 8 wins and 4 losses. Currently, I believe they are a virtual lock for that second place, unless V3 happen to go 2-0 to tie them up. In third place, we now have V3. What a way to come into this. Tied 4th, now in 3rd. Basically almost the lock because everybody else is in such weird standing. For tied 4th place, we have Crest Gaming at Axis and Rascal Jester. Arguably, good on Axis.
That's going to be tight. That's going to be tight still. Like, oh man, the Jester's gone 1-1. The Axis, I think, also went 1-1.
They did.
Like, there's just like that kind of schedule. If they do it again tomorrow, we may have a lot of tiebreakers.
Well, and CGA also going 0-2. What an upset for them. They were sitting pretty. They had this buffer. The thing is, your buffer was for this week. I know it was for both week 6 and week 7, which are very close together. It comes a lot closer when you're like that. Yeah. And at the very
Aria's been trying, like, he was trying, that Echo game, he was so close to claiming a win over, was it DFM, I want to say, actually?
Yes.
Where he was trying his damn hardest, but it just wasn't enough.
Well, I mean...
The rest of the team, like, Grendel, even with the Fate's call, was being picked off and that kind of thing. So we're seeing some of the flaws of CGA exposed, even as we're seeing their strengths try to carry them over the finish line.
Crest truly had the most upsetting game, remember, where they had the gold lead. They ended the game with still a 5k gold lead over the Jesters. Audio on Silas at that 9-1-5, that final death, because Vivid ultimates Silas with his Blitzcrank. Game's over. Suddenly the fight's won when a Silas can't do anything, neither can a Yoshi and a Nap when they're all together. Vivid ulted, and then the rest of the team of the Jesters collapsed, and it was so depressing for Aria. You've got that sad Aria where he's just like, oh, wow, I slightly misplay and we lose a 10k gold lead.
It's just, it is the way it is sometimes with CGA particularly. They have some of the most brilliant moments, and sometimes they also make you hang your head in despair. It is an odd team to watch, and it could be that, especially on the back of those 2 devastating losses, they might not even make it to playoffs properly if they're not careful.
No, there are 2 teams, though, that are currently sitting in the danger zone, and I think that's the most extreme danger zone that they are in, of 4 wins and 8 losses. That is Burning Core have just joined the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming. The Hawks and Burning Core are in desperation mode.
Good spaces.
Whereas we see Burning Core for their next games are going to be facing off against Sengoku and the Hawks. So that is damn hell of a game to see. Whereas the Hawks are going to be playing against, well, Burning Core, as I already said, and Rascal Jester. So much to play for. Sengoku can give up this win, but I don't think they want to. I think they want to lock that second place spot so V3 can't steal it from underneath them. But then the Hawks are going to be fighting against Burning Core, which is all to play for. Arguably, that is definitely potentially going to be our match of the week, because the winner of that has the opportunity to go into playoffs, whereas the latter, that's their hopes gone. That's it. Game over, man. What a way for us to go into. I want to hand it over to you, Initialize, for any closing thoughts from this week 6 that we have seen.
We were hoping that things would get simpler, that people would win in 2-0s and we'd have things kind of resolved. We've not really had that, and things are still damn tight, and that means that week 7 is going to be exceptionally tight. I'm looking forward to a lot of these games to be casting over the next week or so, and it could be absolute barnstormers of some games. We know DFM are good. We know they're in first place. We know Sengoku Gaming have done themselves a great service and got themselves all the way up into second place. I believe they've kind of locked that in at this point.
Virtually, unless V3 win 2-0 and Sengoku lose both their games, then it comes down to a win streak, and I believe V3 get to take that. But it's so like borderline everything else.
So it will be very, very close. But either way, outside of those kind of two teams, everything else is getting really spicy. V3 are pretty much in at third.
Pretty much.
But there are still 3 other places, and V3, if they lose 2 games tomorrow, might still not get in the playoffs if it goes really badly. Like, there's still the way this works. It's all a bit mental. And so stick around, get used to it. Buckle yourselves in for some seriously tight, nail-biting finishes to this split.
I actually just realized, because Sengoku, because Sengoku is playing Burning Core, but more importantly, because Burning Core and the Hawks are playing against each other, I think that actually puts V3 in a lock spot. I think they're locked.
They may well be, because one of those teams will take a lock off the other.
Exactly.
There you go. In that case, congratulations to V3, who found themselves into playoff with that win. And what a way to do it as well.
Perfect game across it, and then basically put one of those teams down there and go, nah, playoffs are ours. Come back if you can make it, Burning Core. That's a statement to give them. What a way to end it. I am excited to see how this next week will actually go. We will be coming at you. I believe Nymera put out on social media that we'll be going live on Tuesday. Potentially that's what we're doing.
Could well be doing.
That's apparently that's been decided. We're going live on Tuesday to hopefully cover these games.
Tuesday it is.
We would love to cover these games as fast as possible for you. So potentially we will come at you as fast as we can with the last 8 games of this before we do go into playoffs. Playoffs will be a few weeks later. We'll come up with you all that information. Feel free to join us over on our Discord, our Twitch account. We stream all our games, and then we post everything over on our YouTube channel and also our Twitter, which we keep pretty active, actually. Far more active than our personal accounts. Well, at least myself and potentially Initializer. I know Nymera is a bit of a tweet boss, so he does do that.
He keeps on track on the Twitters.
He does. He loves them tweeting. But for me and for Initialize, thank you so much for watching, and Nymera, who was on this cast, and Nymera, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.
Janet.